everybody. Welcome to Memoir Church. Today's program is Writer's Resistance. And for those of you who do not know me, my name is Suze Allen, and I am joined by just a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful group of writers today for Writer's Resistance. I'm really happy today to have Lisa Stathopoulos, Valerie O'Riordan, Hank Kimmel, Edie Pfeiffer, Dewey Davis Thompson, Grace Babcock, and Peter Welch. I started Memoir Church about 3 years ago, and with the hopes that I would bring on people to share their stories. And it's been going strong since. I believe that our stories carry the human spirit forward, and that's why I do this. I think that with these kinds of stories, memoir stories, when we're actually sharing our lives instead of the hi, how are you, fine, and you, which is a little flat, these kind of stories, when we can really tell somebody something that's really going on for us or that we feel or think, then we have an understanding of each other. We see a different side of life. We can have more empathy, kindness grows, love grows, connection grows. And it's these seeds that we plant. And in these difficult times that we are going through, this is a way for us to keep doing our art and sharing what we do with each other, because there's beauty and there's suffering. It's both and all. And I'm really happy to have all of you here today with us. And I am going to start today's program with a piece that I wrote. So we're going to get started. In June 2025, I got to be at my daughter Hattie Rose's graduation from UCLA. She majored in international development studies with a minor in public policy. At the time, LA was just recovering from COVID, 14 destructive wildfires, the most devastating, the Eaton Fire in Altadena and the Palisades Fire in the Pacific Palisades. We passed the National Guard that was sent to UCLA or to LA by the president and the subsequent protesters in the streets. None of the speakers at graduation talked about these young people face during their 4 years or what they were going to face into the world and the workforce that they were entering. Fire, severe drought, the hurtful policies of the Trump administration, ICE snatching people off the streets, the overturning of Roe v. Wade, the Supreme Court handing the president unlimited powers, and the rise of fascism. At the International College graduation ceremony, I listened to the wife of Chancellor Dr. Julio Frank, Felicia Nall, talk about her book about breast cancer and how she established a nonprofit focusing on improving women's awareness of the risks associated with breast cancer, and of the organization and the school that she started in Mexico. And she echoed her husband's message from the first university ceremony, which was, be kind to strangers. And while I believe in being kind to strangers, and I think everyone should, and while her work in the world is inspiring, there was not one word to these 2025 graduates of the international school about the state of the world they were inheriting, the trauma all around them, no acknowledgments of the difficulties they faced in their college career and the impending doom of failed organizations such as USAID. How insanely difficult it will be to get a job in their field, how to persevere, how the university will support them, and what the heck to do. I watched my daughter receive her diploma, shake hands with an adored professor, and cross the stage, a sash of honors around her black gown, the hem of her stunning white dress swishing below the black, and a mortarboard with a purple tassel atop her head of flowing dirty blonde locks. She stopped at the appointed place, stage left, for a photograph and smiled. Her big blue-green eyes lit up. Time stood still for that seconds. From the audience, my heart swelled, and I saw her changing the world. It was just a flash, and then she went back to her seat, When she sat down, our eyes and grins met and matched. What's next? The world is your oyster, baby girl. But it doesn't seem like it is, not now anyway. The Center for Global Development estimates that with USAID, without the humanitarian and food aid, the decline in funding and programs suggests that the potential for lost lives per year is 490,000, bringing the total lives at risk from aid cuts to 1.6 million if the obligations do not revive. But you'll find your way. I know you will, as will many of your classmates. Your passion and compelling curiosity, your intellect and your joie de vivre, you will persevere. I think it's time that we talked about what's going on to everybody all the time, whether we're preaching to the choir or we're helping somebody, give them a leg up, a hand. The felon, the rapist, the orange man, incapable of empathy, grace, decorum, kindness, and justice, ran on America first. And I say bullshit to America first or second or last. Health insurance is getting canceled, and those who have it, the prices are going up exponentially, and it's hard to get and hard to pay for and hard to access services. We're invading and capturing and trying to run other countries, Venezuela, just last night. And I say to all of the young people out there, to all the middle-aged people, to all the elderly, we need each other. We need to keep doing our art in the world, holding hands, finding the beauty, honoring and helping those who are suffering.
Ooh.
And up next, thank you. Up next, thank you, we have Lisa Stathopoulos. And I'm going to try to find Lisa and get her. Okay, excellent.
Scream silenced. I started screaming somewhere between the apples section. I thought a Macau could soothe, be a slightly sweet and crunchy balm, but there were only rows and rows of Fuji, Cortland, Empire, and pink ladies, and the jalapenos, red peppers. My scream so loud, the dead in Grove Cemetery began perking up. At the end of aisle 5, I accidentally jostled a magazine rack, knocking a Time Life picture book of famous natural disasters to the floor. The woman behind me, swathed in pashmina, beat me to picking it up. She looked at my face, lips pursed thoughtfully, like admiring an Edvard Munch painting. When I made it to the checkout with an armload, Chobani plain yogurt, a roll of no-name paper towels, and for some reason lost to me, Reynolds aluminum foil, still screaming, the cashier took my 20, gave me change, never looked me in the eye, and didn't say a word. She might have been screaming too. I grabbed my tote, headed for the automatic doors, screamed on. In the parking lot, I forgot where my Honda CRV, the new one, taupe colored, was parked. New to me, the 2016 replacement for Zippy, my 2013 used burgundy colored CRV, totaled last summer when I smashed a deer and my heart doing about 50 on Route 1 north of Stockton Springs. No insurance, no comprehensive anyway, hence the newer, expensive CRV. The deer had no insurance either. No comprehensive protection against me and my 5,000-pound hunk of metal. She died slow. I might have started screaming then. No, it was before then, I remember now. Autopilot helped me find the car, I guess. I had to stop at the post office, and between screams, I gurgled out to the always kind postmaster of Searsport, Maine, that I needed a change of address form. With the gentlest of voices, he said, "Can I help with anything else today?" and handed me government issue. Trying for a smile, I screamed through my contorted grimace. He grinned warmly and looking past my left shoulder said, "Next." My yell may have gotten louder as I angled through the Christmas package mailing crowd, desperate to get to the door. By the time I got home, I noticed screaming had become like breathing, habitual, essential. Had I really been screaming through 2 hours of mindless errands? I'm screaming still. I've been screaming for near on a year. 3 years?
Mhm.
Longer. How is the world tolerating this?
Yeah.
Tolerating me? It's so loud, incessant, consequential, yet no consequences. How have my vocal cords held up? How has my heart? How is it no one hears?
Thank you,
Wow.
Lisa. Well, we hear you. We hear you right here. Thank you so much.
Beautiful.
Beautiful work. Well, I'm already crying. I always say it
Yeah.
isn't Memoir Church or Writer's Resistance until somebody cries. So that was beautiful. Thank you so much. Next up, we have Valerie O'Riordan.
I had something else ready to read today and ran through it yesterday morning for timing. There's a little humor, some drama, a little bit of politically based anger. Then I went online, straight down a rabbit hole, and ended up watching Deer Hunter. I had forgotten it's a 3-hour film, but remembered its intensity.
Nero.
Standing in my living room was perfect, though, because it was raining again. I thawed some beef stew I had made a couple weeks ago and let Dare Hunter take me to Vietnam by way of working class Pittsburgh in the 60s and an awesome cast. I am currently in a play about women's childbearing choices called The Ticking Clock. I play a 70-year-old named Phoenix who had her tubes tied at 19. My first line is, in 1970, after Cambodia and Kent State happened, I immediately disengaged from this country. I was 15, a high school strike leader, and my attitude was the adults of this country want me dead. Well, fuck them. I've been learning lines in prep for Tuesday's first New Year rehearsal, so Deer Hunter appropriately fed my research. 3 hours later, I scrolled the news and decided that what I planned to read today was trivial after I saw what our felon in chief did in Venezuela. Well, fuck him. Illegal, unconstitutional, and not at all about drugs, but oil. This president of the United States of embarrassment invaded a country, a foreign country, and kidnapped their president, all in the name of Piggy's supposed peace. What the fuck? With Deer Hunter still occupying my nervous system, I was horizontal on the couch with a lump in my throat when my cat decided to make himself at home on my belly. His tail signaled content as I pet his perfectly painted tabby fur. I thanked him for joining me, and he replied by closing his eyes slowly, translated to "I love you too" in cat lingo. In a serene moment of quiet intimacy, I confessed to Shiloh that I want to be a cat. Then I told him, "You have no idea who that convicted felon is in our White House. Shiloh, he's pissing his name everywhere and tore down the East Wing like he's tearing away at our Constitution. The lies and the young girls in the Epstein files and Jack Smith's testimony. You don't even care about the wag the dog bullshit because you're a cat. And as long as you get your eats and appetizers and playtime and a clean place to poop, everything's good. Lucky you, my shy boy. I wish I was oblivious to it like you are." And with that, Shiloh had had enough and was off. And him. One day I'm fine because I'm strong and resilient and hopeful. He's still a fucking idiot. Other days, I feel like the wind was kicked out of me. So my overactive imagination daydreams of storming certain areas in Washington, D.C. as a vigilante superhero. And then I remember I don't even have a gun. And I calm myself down yet again. He's just ridiculous. It's nerve-wracking. He's evil, laughable, unlawful, unbelievable, and ugly from the inside out. I remind myself again and again that I have to be hopeful and that I can't give up. So I continue to write postcards and peacefully protest and write what I think on Facebook until I can vote like our lives are depending on it, because they are. And I remind myself of what the Dalai Lama said. You must not hate those who do wrong or harmful things, but with compassion, you must do what you can to stop them. So you know what? 2026 will not be about anger. It will be about accountability, about speaking up and regaining our national decency, about untrumping America. And I don't know how, and I sure as hell hope it happens soon. Even when I get upset, here's what I post and what I choose to believe. He's going down. It's only a matter of time. He knows it, they know it, and we know it. We, the people who are deciding across the aisle that enough is enough, because we, the people, are the majority. Right, Shiloh?
You go, girl. I love that you just scrapped whatever you were writing and wrote that. And Shiloh, thank you for supporting your gal there, Valerie. She needs you. I think a lot of us wish we were. I was just saying the same thing to my little dog, Lula. Thank you, Valerie, so much. And thank you, Lisa. And up next is Hank Kimmel.
Hello, everybody. I put my piece in the chat in case anybody wants to look at it as I read it or save it later for rebuttal. The name of the piece is Going Forth to the Moon, and these are words that were initiated on October 30th, 2023. 1. I can't go forth, I can't go forth, I can't go forth. I want to write to the moment, but I can't go forth. So much I want to say, protect, refute, and yet here I am thinking about the Bay of Pigs, wondering if the unmentionable can happen again. 2. As I write, think, ponder, I see Frank Wong looking at me, perhaps with a trace of compassion, perhaps not. Frank the actor, Frank the used car salesman from Queens, Frank attacked by mobsters on 46th and 8th after we performed a scene together from Desire Under the Elms. I like to think Frank would be strong, defiant. He'd tell me, Hank, fight back. Hank, be true. Hank, be the man you're meant to be. Instead, I run, Hank, run, away from the educated class. 3. What is there to be said at the moment? The silence is deafening. How and where do I make a stand? Does it really come down to this? Again and again and again. Never again. Here it is, earlier this century than expected, which suggests the worst is yet to come. Far worse, much worse, before things can get better. How can I profess anger if I'm processing fear, sadness, bewilderment? Are people that ignorant, malicious, hateful? All of the above? More of the above? I don't get it. Do you? 4. Alice is back from Wonderland. Alice, please speak to me. We were going to be great partners together. We were going to learn, grow, and move on to bigger things. Oh, you weren't wearing a wool sweater. Soft wool. Lime green. Oh, Alice, what do you think? I think, Alice says to me, that you shall know greater madness. Anything else, I ask? She takes my hand and moves it across her soft wool sweater. It's not as if I'm in love, but something within me is kindled. It's frightening as hell. My response? I want to dunk a basketball, but here I am, face to face with Alice. Shall we? No. Why not? Because it's not my entitlement. And yet, the young woman in Iran, a girl really, she died today, killed, murdered like so many others. But I dare not speak the word. You dare not speak the word. We dare not speak the word together. But you're next, and you, and you, and you. You get my point. But I'll defer. Because when it comes to fight or flight, I'm fleeing past the cemetery at Swan Point, where the idealists have abandoned their ideals. To stop war. Wasn't that the enterprise we started at Brown? Wasn't that the goal? Didn't the project die from infighting? An obvious irony, a sad irony, a one-liner that makes me realize that idealism no longer exists. Hypocrisy rules the day. Go, hypocrisy, go. Go! I mean, leave. Let's keep the peace. That's what the Mad Hatter says to Alice. Kill or be killed. It's crazy. Not to be able to feel the rhythm of the day, unsettled. You mustn't fret. You mustn't fret. You mustn't fret. Okay, what should I do? I fret because it's fraught, frighteningly fraught. Your silence, your words, your lack of compassion, not understanding that you're next in line. After me, them, us. 5. So much is unimaginable to me, though I knew it was coming. 5 years to the day in Pittsburgh, the Tree of Life. Down the road from Ferry Street, where I'd like to think my mother held me tight against her soft woolen sweater. Her little boy, her big boy, offset from all those miscarriages, a miscarriage of justice. Here I am because she wouldn't quit. Here I am because she was stubbornly persistent. Here I am because she fought instead of felt. Mother, may I thank you one more time for what you have given, the understanding that I must go forth, because what other choice do I have? Run, Hank, run across the landscape to the moon.
Thank you, Hank Kimmel. That was amazing. That was lovely. And if anybody wants to save the chat, there's 3 little dots at the top. You can save it and you can access Hank's written word as well. Thank you for that added benefit. Next up, we have the lovely Edie Pfeiffer.
All right, thank you. Okay, so since Trump too has come into power, I've become more and more politically active with the national organization Refuse Fascism, which is a national group formed to protest and ultimately stop, through nonviolent demonstrations, the illegitimate Trump regime. I joined the local NorCal chapter in February of this year, soon after it was clear that Trump and his regime were going to carry out Project 2025. Every executive order, every cabinet appointment of the unqualified cartoon character villain became a complaint to my husband, who kept saying, "Okay, but what are you really going to do about it?" This was irritating enough that I gave up the idea that writing postcards and making calls from my comfortable home and joining the occasional protest was cutting it. I had to become an activist. I met with a friend of my husband's, a communist from way back, who was one of the staff members of Revolution Books in Berkeley. He and I talked about what was going on politically and what I could see myself doing about it. And eventually, I must have been vetted. He suggested a meeting at the next protest with the local Refuse Fascism leader and see where things went from there. Well, I got very involved once I could see that this organization was actively doing things to make change. It was refreshing to march alongside others who felt the sense that we're all responsible for humanity and the planet, which may mean dropping everything and making room for a call to a protest, a webinar, or a meeting on Signal, often in reaction to what new evil the Trump machine has created, like a war with Venezuela. I met a host of wonderful, caring people who are constantly thinking about what we can do to stop fascism. I went to Washington, D.C. in July to help organize and protest the signing of the big, terrible bill on July 4th. We started with an inspiring rally in Logan Circle with speakers from the faith community, the Revolutionary Communist Party, the veteran community, and others. And then at least 1,000 of us marched down Connecticut Avenue to the White House with more speakers and music. At 5 p.m., exactly when Trump signed the bill, we turned our backs to the White House as we chanted, "Trump must go now." And as he sent the B-2 bomber overhead, I have never seen or heard so many fuck yous. We then laid down on the pavement for a die-in to convey the reality of many millions of people who have died and will die under this regime. I came back to California with a new sense of hope and urgency as we watched the fascist regime becoming more and more consolidated. I was asked back to DC in September to help plan and organize for what we hoped would be a much bigger protest and march in early November. I was offered a home to stay in and was given donations from friends and family for food and transportation. I was also given a one-way ticket and put my life on hold to help build for the largest nonviolent mobilization in U.S. history, flooding Washington, D.C. with millions of people starting on November 5th and calling for the fall of the Trump fascist regime. I stayed in D.C. for almost 2 months, becoming one of the divas of our operations center and the housing maven for the many people in national leadership who came and went as needed. I absolutely loved the community we created, the people from all over the country who came to be part of this movement and who I now consider good friends. I worked harder than I've worked in a long time, maybe ever. Often 7 days a week, from 9 to 6, keeping up with new volunteers, emails and texts, meeting announcements, and going out to flyer, poster, and demonstrate. If only we did have rich donors paying us a wage for all the work we did. We actually had people come up and say, "Oh, you're just being paid." November 5th was not as big as we had worked for and hoped, but we did have over 5,000 people attend, and it was a beautiful rally near the Washington Monument, then a march all the way up the National Mall, past the Capitol building. We gained a lot of important partners and supporters, and we were reported on by the likes of Rachel Maddow and other news and Substack writers. After November 5th, we continued to actively protest, joining with other organizations, and had many protests of our own. We mastered the art of joyful resistance with dance parties, either at the end of protests or as a protest itself, like in front of Fox News or the Heritage Foundation. We were usually joined by the whole cast of inflatable characters and Tony, El Rey de la Alegría, providing loud, often Latin dance music from his portable speakers. I became part of a flash mob team, chanting and singing at street fairs and festivals, which was super fun. I've been back home in Berkeley since the end of November, back in the leadership of our NorCal chapter, back with my husband, my 3 daughters, and their complicated family realities. The book I'm writing got figuratively dusted off, and I'm back to meeting with my coach, Suze, once a week. My body and mind are happy to have yoga back in the schedule. I'm slowly getting back to my homeopathy practice. And all this with my group doing our best to get the word out with phone banking and film screenings and discussions. It's urgently up to us, as the Tibetan monks walking from Houston to DC are making it clear, to do everything we can to stop this fascism and we have to act now for humanity, for future generations, and for the planet before it's too late.
Mm.
Thank you, Edie. And thank you for your service. Really appreciate it. And I'm so glad you dusted off your book. And it is too, you do that and then you come back and you create beauty. She's writing a beautiful book about a woman from the turn of the century, Dr. Florence Saltonstall, who was amazing and was a leader and a pioneer in medicine and OBGYN. And we need those stories in the world also. So thank you. Thank you so much, Evie. And next up, we have one of our faves, Dewey Davis Thompson.
Hey everybody, sorry I'm on my phone today, but I don't even want to turn on my computer and look at the news. I'm like, really? Do we have to do this now? It would have been so much easier, so much better when I was young and had nothing to lose. I'm ready to retire. I should be worried about the solvency of Social Security, not the solvency of the Constitution. But I watched Washington, D.C. and my dear Novum Collegium overrun by imbecile. And yes, I do worry. I was raised with an optimistic worldview. My mom worked with mental patients at the Bernard Center, using art to ease mental pain. And Dad used theater and song and poetry to help inmates at the Muskegon Correctional Facility. I played and performed and prayed with them all. My effervescent mother took me to Ethiopia in the Peace Corps in 1977. And today she sends a group text every single morning, oh so optimistically, to her fragmented family that don't talk to each other because they vote that way and I vote this way. I believe anything is possible. Sing an opera, live in a boat, enjoy 25 years of polyorgasmic bliss. I can do anything. But all this optimism is tempered by decades of unrealized dreams and failures. Hundreds of business ideas and project proposals sputtered and died. Adieu, sex and sci-fi, Green Job Guide, menformen.com, computer tutors, thousands of unfinished short stories, plays, poems, entire books, so many books, a book of books unwritten. That is part of my legacy. Life gets in the way. Drugs, obligations, sloth. Every day it seems like I have to weigh it out. How can I best enjoy my life today? Some days it most definitely includes writing, but not enough days for my irrational aspirations. I do have self-control and discipline enough to start and run a business of my own for 30 years. Back in the day, I had to explain what a website was and why you might want to have one. I got my lawyer to use a photographer's contract as a template for my own contract because there was nobody else in the field to copy. I was the first. I can do anything. So maybe this muse has amusingly led me back to the beginning, a la Uberus, to swallow my own tail. I look at the news and think, do we really have to do this now? Well, okay then, because I can do anything.
Thank you, Dewey. What does your hat say? Does it say something profound? I can't see you now. What does it say? Just say.
Here, here's a better one.
No, but what's the other one say?
Let's go, Taco.
Yeah.
Make Orwell
Read it.
fiction again. Make Orwell fiction again.
Oh, God.
Thank you so much, Dewey. And next up, we have the lovely Grace Babcock.
Thank you. I don't want to be American anymore. I haven't since the 2016 presidential elections. Not only has the Trump administration cut the Department of Education's workforce nearly in half while drastically reducing funding. It has also significantly reduced resources that support civil rights and racial equality, those with disability, and the research that betters our school systems. This impacts everyone, but it's also personal. It means that I might not be able to finish college, which makes my heart stop dead in my chest. It terrifies me because I've walked through hell and kept going after my severe traumatic brain injury, kept pushing through despite disability, and every other obstacle is stopping me from continuing. So to stop now, that would be devastating. It would be like jumping off of a cliff and hoping I hit jagged rocks instead of water upon impact. There is so much injustice with ICE, immigration, the healthcare system, mass shootings, and hate crimes, to the point where acknowledging I'm American means acknowledging the feeling that a layer of filth has sunk beneath my skin. I feel dirty. And no matter how many times I wash my body, I can't erase the bone-deep sensation that I am unclean. It hurts to think of how many voices have been silenced. Every fiber of my heart, every roped cord and muscle, valve and vein, every pump aches as my blood carries its vessels to keep my body alive. What can I do with this pain? How can I voice it when speaking out has become so polarized? When my brain tells me that I'm alone and that trying would be a drop of water against a mountain? For the longest time, I have hidden my fear in silence. Where I can't spread love, I spread kindness, but making a difference seems to be like breathing underwater. It only happens in my dreams. But when I talk to my friends, when I connect with the people around me, it's like I've found my right arm again, like my nerves have regrown. I remember that I am not alone. I have a family, and I have a community, and even amidst the chaos and hate that racks our country, there is still good alive in it. I am a single individual drop of water, and you are too. We all are. One drop is my friend Book, who I met in January a year ago at college. She spreads awareness of mental health and fights the stigma that it brings by being open with everyone she comes across about her DID, dissociative identity disorder. She combats prejudice against the disabled by proving she is just as capable as someone without a wheelchair. Another drop is my friend Will, who I met through Brooke. He spreads kindness and love everywhere he goes, to the point where his sign name in ASL is Open Heart with a W handshake. He shows that there's more to someone's life and being than the sum of their worst actions, because even though he was jailed for a misdemeanor level crime before I met him, now he is the sweetest, most open-hearted person I know. A different drop is my best friend Tara, who I have had the privilege to know for over 9 years now, having met in high school. She proves that life is still worth fighting for, by fighting for her own, despite living in a system that is suppressing transgender people, despite all the trauma and abuse she has faced, despite past suicide attempts that have brought her deeper into despair. She fights to live, and thus by her every breath shows everyone that there's still good in the world and that it is worth holding on to as tight as you can. I like to think of rain, of the splatter of droplets as they carve through stone. One by one, they wear it down and shape the rock, sculpting it into caverns and valleys, cutting through canyons, smoothing what was rough and making it soft, gentle, and kind. Every voice matters, because together we can shatter stone. What seems immovable or impossible is possible when we gather and share our stories. Change can start small. It can be in one heart, one dream, one hope that will spread if we let it. I am not proud to be an American, but I can accept being one if it means I have the privilege to use my voice as a force for good. I can accept being one if it means that I am surrounded with people like you.
Oh, darling. Ah, that was so beautiful. My goodness. Grace, your openness and honesty and passion at your young age and with your old soul, all of it just coalesces and makes something so rich and beautiful happen. Thank you. Thank you, honey.
Thank you.
Next up, and for our last writer today, but not least, we have Peter Welch.
Thank you, Grace. That was beautiful. This is called Pearl's Wisdom. Pearl is a fictitious name. The morning is rainy, on the verge of icy drizzle, so the store is quiet. I select 1 by 6 by 8 pine boards for my project at home and lug them to the cashier for purchase. As I approach Pearl's register, she is bending over, attempting to pinch 2 pennies she's dropped. Her arthritic fingers make it difficult to lift them, so I reach down to give her a hand. Her eyes follow my fingers as I retrieve the pennies, then transfer them from my own hand to her own. She remains stooped over, her spine curving with age as she thanks me. Then she returns to an almost upright position, and when she realizes who's there, offers a generous smile. Oh, it's you. Without missing a beat, I haven't seen your brother yet. During a recent excursion here, I shared with Pearl that I'm an identical twin and perhaps she's seen my brother in the store and thought it might be me. His name is Paul. I'm Peter. Yes, I remember, she says with conviction. Pearl and I have greeted each other dozens of times over the years in our brief yet cordial exchanges as cashier and customer at the Portsmouth, New Hampshire Home Depot. Her wild gray hair and abundance of customer service award patches affixed to her tangerine orange apron help her stand out among her peers. She has steely blue eyes that smile. I've watched her body change over time, shrinking from osteoporosis. Now the top of her head, her eyes to the floor is what first greets me. During our transactions, we usually chat, especially if there is no one in line behind me, like today. Recently, she traveled to Arizona to see her granddaughter graduate from college. She's eager to share the details of her cross-country adventure. She stands a little taller, her chin pointing north, as she speaks of watching Peggy Ann walk across the stage to receive her diploma. She's proud of herself, too, for navigating travel from here to there and back with relative ease. Without fail, each time before I leave, she offers a God bless you as I wave and tell her I'll see her again soon. At our house, there's always another home improvement project in the queue. Today, she asked me if I voted. I'm cautiously curious about this question, given that she seldom curious me in this way. I say, no, I live in Maine, not New Hampshire, where the recent primary took place. Affixed to her Home Depot apron is a I voted sticker. And to be polite, I ask her if she's voted. She nods. Trump. Oh, I see. I don't see at all. I hold my breath for a few moments and wonder where this conversation might be headed. Why did I even have to ask? You know, he won the election in 2020. The Democrats stole it from him. I don't think that's true, I quietly offer. It is true, she commands as she maneuvers the pine boards in search of the barcode. Her eyes are wild, like a child's, as she looks up to the sky in wonder. She's incensed by my ignorance. I glance down at the credit card terminal, impatient to sign off and move on with my day. Why is it taking so long? Eventually, she hands me a receipt. Well, I'm going to vote for Harris. She thinks for a second, then chirps. You're crazy! Again looking up at me with her wild gray hair and steely blue eyes. I gather my purchase and make my way to the exit. There is no blessing from Pearl today. A few weeks later, while at the Home Depot, I see Pearl at her register and tentatively make my way to her line with today's purchase, brackets for new shelving at home. She's focused on the customer ahead in line, so doesn't see me until she scans my item. "Hello, Peter," she offers, looking up, her eyes warm with a soft smile. I don't sense any tension from our last encounter a few weeks ago. "How are you doing?" I ask. "Not so good." She makes eye contact to be sure I'm listening. "I lost my apartment in Rochester. New owners kicked us out. I'm staying at the Holiday Inn in Somersworth with my son. $110 a night. More than she makes in a shift, I imagine. It's later in the day and not so busy that we can't talk for a few minutes. Oh my goodness, I'm sorry to hear this. I'm not sure what we're going to do. In my head, I wonder if she has a church she could rely on, or friends or family who might offer her and her adult son a temporary place to stay. Trump has made all kinds of promises to an America of pearls. Does she feel hopeful during this unsteady time in her life, somehow believing the political rhetoric that he will provide a safe, decent, affordable place for her and her son to live? I want to ask other questions, too, about this unsteady time in our nation's moral trajectory. And does she realize that she's been bamboozled, that we've all been bamboozled? There is someone now in line behind me, so I gather my purchase. As I walk away, I only am able to offer a sympathetic smile, wishing her the best. God bless you, she says.
Oh, thank you, Peter. That was so beautiful. I love just being there for someone in our differences. Passionate, beautiful. I just love all the different perspectives, how I love learning how everybody is coping. I love hearing that we're feeling things and we're vacillating between being very, very angry and morose to being helpful and hopeful. And hope is a word of action, I think. You know, it's I think Rebecca Solnit talks about it as being the hammer that you break the door down with, or the axe that you break the door down with.